Hello guys, and welcome to a new Wargame video today by me, Vulcan, and Val.
Hello guys.
Today we have another of the 3v3 Reddit tournament games, and in this one we're going to be starting with Creating Cognitive Dissonance on the blue side with Pattern, Fadeaway and Random, and over on the red side today we have Steel Balalaika with Oceans, Reflex and Seraga. So to begin with, what are your thoughts, Val?
I think this should be a very, very good game. We've seen what both of these teams are capable of in the past. It should be pretty fantastic to watch. I think both red 4 as well. So
yeah, we've got a great map to play on. I think this map's possibly thrown up a lot of interesting strategies so far. We've seen the difference between putting emphasis in Echo and Hotel, and also the emphasis in Golf. So in the past, we did see Team Shitters push through the middle at the end of their game, and that was incredible how they managed to get that full-on push through Golf and managed to just completely wreck that.
And they didn't even push into Echo as well.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out in the respects of where either team sets their focus, because that is ultimately what sets this map apart from other maps, is that you have so many options, and where you choose to put your emphasis is very, very important.
Definitely.
So a lot of notes coming up at the start. We can see that Random did put a ping saying that they should watch out for the submerge. So that's interesting, because it sort of means that
watched the previous game.
Yeah, they've either watched the previous game or they just know the strategy.
Played Balalaika quite a bit. Yeah.
They know the strategy of the map, and that will definitely pay off, because we did see the 2 Smirch start in the previous game with Steel Balalaika, and it looks like they're going to be doing the same again, possibly only with 1. Is that so far?
I think no. There's there's a Bertino, isn't it? It could possibly be 1.
Yeah, so we've got 1 by the FOB. And let's have a look at the decks. What sort of decks are they using today?
Yeah, okay. So we'll start on blue side. I believe Random is using a Soviet deck. I haven't seen any Korean units yet, so it could still be a Sovco deck, but I'm going to say, considering he's not doesn't look he's brought out any Korean units, that's just a regular standard Soviet deck. Pattern has gone for the Red Dragons deck, extremely strong with those TY90s, really good anti-air helicopters. And Fadeaway on the top side in India has gone for what looks like a Sovco deck with those Korean reserves in the BTR 152s, I think, and then all the Soviet units. On the red side, on Steel Balalaika, we have Oceans at the bottom. It looks like he's just going Soviet. Again, I mean, when I say Soviet, these could always turn out to be a Sovco deck, but it looks at the moment to be just a Soviet deck.
Yeah.
Seraga, again the same. Looks like it will be just a Soviet deck, but we will see. I mean, it could well change. Reflex, I believe that's a Red Dragons deck with the Chinese and the Soviet units there. So quite balanced actually in terms of the decks arrayed against each other. There's two Red Dragon decks, and then two Soviet decks, although Fadeaway does have the Soviet Korean.
Yeah, so it's Red 4 versus Red 4, which makes it nice and balanced. It's definitely going to be a show of skill, and it'll be interesting to see how the Korean units actually play a part. So you're going to have the B5s coming out. We're going to probably see maybe some Bachongsu, also the Yakudays, which is the Korean reserve infantry.
Yeah, very useful.
So they're all sort of units to watch out for in this game, and they are the reason that you do those mixed decks as opposed to just going USSR. And like I say, we've got to watch out for that.
We do. So we just have a look at the actual start. So on the blue side, at the bottom sector with Pattern and Random, it looks like none of them have opted for a Buratino, which is, I think, quite interesting. Well, I mean, only Random could have the Buratino, but we've seen quite a few times that these teams will take a Buratino from the start. Although actually saying that, it looks like the red team deleted their Buratino, so they're not opting for one either.
There's a lot of SU-122s mixed in there for the start. That's
Yeah,
quite
definitely.
interesting because generally they're kind of weak from the offset, but you'll see them brought in later on to support infantry battles. But then saying that, they do have a T-72BU in the mix, as well as a T-72B1 on the bottom side for the blue side.
They do.
Couple of HQ7s. They've got a pretty well balanced force there.
Yeah,
Reasonable amount of infantry.
The Smirch is firing for Oceans on the left, so we'll see if that does actually land anything. You know, obviously, Random did mark, so they are expecting a Smirch start, but
yeah, you can see where Serega has put his smoke, and that's, I'm assuming, where he's planning to land the Smirch barrage, but yeah, Random already saw it coming.
Yeah, saw it coming, does take some shots onto those BTR-90s. They both go down.
Oh!
That was my idea.
That's definitely going to hurt, because those are two Moskaya Pehota squads which came in BTR-90s, and those are extremely important for the start of the game.
Not to mention expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive. It basically makes those Moskayas completely immobile for the time being. He's going to have to start walking those to the front, which means they're going to arrive extremely late, and that gives him a big advantage from the offset, especially considering if you look at Serega with his own BTR-90s approaching towards Gulf, he's going to have those Spetsnaz GRU.
Oh, the GRU are absolutely deadly in these sorts of situations.
And without those Moskaya there to sort of counter, and also those BTR-90s, those BTR-90s from Serega are going to make a lot of ground, hopefully.
It's interesting what we've seen on the top side here. We've it looks like Fadeaway has not decided to push into Echo. He's just holding a hotel. Reflex has a nice MI-25, just picking off some units.
Yeah, it's absolutely beating the hell out of those units because there is zero AA support. There is actually no AA on that top side, other than the book.
Just one book M1, which is out of range for any helicopters anyway.
He's got to be careful that this MO25 doesn't just ignore this VDV and just continue round the side of the map. Although the KA-52 coming up to take that out with its V missiles.
That should be a nice pick-off. I think in terms of points, this is actually going in blue side's favour because the VDV survived, but I mean, still, it's a lot of pressure taken off that top side because Fadeaway has nothing really to attack with, although it looks like he was planning to defend.
It's a shame that Serega hasn't pushed forwards more with those Spetsnaz GRU. I honestly thought that they would have seen those units go down and then maybe done something about that. We did see a J7-2H, was that go down?
Yeah, the cheap Interceptor, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was just scanning for helicopters with its exceptional optics.
The first B5 we just saw coming down over Mike. Didn't really get much. Brought a Spetsnaz GRU unit down to 3 men, but not too much accomplished. I'm quite interested as to these 3 OSA AKs. They're the 40 pink, the mid-tier OSA unit. So
yeah,
that explains why they brought 3 of them in, because they do have less accuracy, but
they do have quite high rate of fire though.
Yeah.
Let's check out this middle engagement. Yeah, you can see the SG-122s. They're going to be doing a lot of damage with their high HE power. They do have 5 HE power, which basically means if they get a direct hit onto a squad, they are going to deal 5 damage, which is a lot of damage to an infantry squad. Also got the T-72B1 there and the T-72BU as well. I'm surprised not seeing any like MiGs coming in immedially in order to actually take out those tanks, because they are very exposed in the open like that. Yes, they do have like the Strela 10M just sitting there very, very close, and they do have more anti-air in the backside as well with that Tunguska M. But honestly, a MiG-27 is worth a T-72BU kill.
Definitely. What I'm confused about is that the red team, Reflex and Serega, haven't brought any tanks into this middle area. They're just bringing up some Zalos now, which aren't going to compete with those heavy T-72Bs and B1s. We'll have to see how this goes. I mean...
Oh, I love this combination in the bot side, though. Ocean's making some serious ground with those Motor Strelky 90 and the BMP-1D combo.
Oh, yeah.
The BMP-1Ds with the grenade launchers just absolutely wreck infantry, and that front armor can save them against low AP AT weaponry as well.
Not against a high-end Chinese tank, though, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, the ZTZ-85-3 there coming into play and taking out both those APCs.
A PD coming in to hit this B5. Oh, it's gone down. That's a big loss.
Yeah, well, there goes one B5. It sort of damages the Motor Strelky a little bit by crashing directly on top of them.
Even in death, they did their job. 2 heroes.
There is that, but definitely a good kill.
Yeah, so let's take a look around the map then. So on the top side, we don't really have much going on. It seems to be kind of a very stationary sort of defensive position. The red team actually doesn't have much in Echo. Like those some of those squads of VDV could do a lot of damage if they got in there, but I think Fadeway probably, you know, he thinks there's probably more there than there actually is. The blue team, I would say, seems to be doing quite well in the middle, but there are a lot of these good infantry units for the Steel Balalaika sort of filling in these gaps in the line. So let's be very careful with those tanks. And in the bottom, it's what we see pretty much every time. An infantry battle going on in the bottom.
A skirmish for the bot side forest, and then we see the Smirch barrage coming in and actually forcing the CV away.
That was some very good recognition from Patton, though, that he saw that coming and instantly moved the CV.
Well, he does obviously know the Smirch is in play, and they've been looking at it from the start, so it's not something that they can easily ignore at the moment. MiG-27 finally coming in the center. Is that going to hit a tank, or is it just going to get shot down?
No, I think it's going to go down. Yep, that was unfortunate.
Didn't even hit anything. The T-72BU did get an optical failure. Was that possibly from a little bit of a gun run, or was that probably from the Lijuan? I can't really tell.
Honestly, not sure. No, the MiG didn't fire anything.
I don't think the MiG fired at all, so it must have been the Lijuan.
So this is quite interesting to me, where Oceans has put his CV in the middle, because I would almost argue that's not the best place, because you're putting it right behind that building block. So you're at risk of having like a bomber like the Su-24M come in, because it has quite a wide dispersion radius of its bombs. So your CV could get picked off by that bombing run, even if they were aiming for the town.
Yeah.
Because it is so close behind.
It is kind of reverse psychology, though. Because you're playing against good players, you won't expect them to put it in an obvious position. And so it sort of works in a good way, putting it in an obvious position. Because
no one would expect you to put it in the town.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. Yeah, nobody's going to expect you to do it. And that might work in their favour if we don't see any bombers come in anytime soon. Look at this bot side. Uzanduai just absolutely wrecking the Sky Piloter.
Now, this is a big problem for the red team, because unless they have some Spetsnaz coming up in these transports, which I don't think they do, I think they're all going to be in Moscow per hector. These Android 90 will absolutely... Oh, sorry, no, I'm getting confused. I was thinking they were Legion. Never mind.
No, they're the Uzanduai.
Yeah.
But the reason they're winning so badly is just the extra APC support being microed really, really well. Basically what Patton is doing is reversing those APCs whilst the AT is about to fire. Because generally what happens in these kinds of situations in an extended gunfight is that you'll have to purposefully target the APCs in order to destroy them with the AT weapon, because the infantry squads don't use the AT weapon at the same time they use their machine guns. So you have to purposefully target the APCs. So what he's doing in order to counteract that is he's reversing them every time the squads are changing target or changing weapon, should we say. And that's just an incredibly good way of doing things.
Speaking of those Legion, Patton did bring the squad up, so you know, if he micros them correctly, those napalm rockets will do a lot of work in putting down these squads, especially with some Yuki Ondes coming in from the top side as well.
Check out this fire support coming in the middle.
Oh,
we've got the
disgusting.
T-72BUs sitting on the hill, we've got the BTR-90 sitting on the hill, and like just Moskaya and all these infantry units are just getting absolutely wrecked. Just look at all the fire that's like raining down from that hill, from the grenade launchers, from the autocannons, and all the stuff there. We've got MiG-25 PD coming in, that did get you down. Also the red side plane also went down.
I think Random's BU again was micro correctly, hid inside the forest and survived. One thing I really like is this use of the Mi-4A, like a big rocket pod heli.
Yeah.
Because I believe they're not transports, are they? I think you have to actually bring them in separately. I might be mistaken, but I think they are. Well, it does go down.
They do come in separately. They're like 40 points or something. They're pretty cheap helicopters, but they come with a lot of rocket pods, and they're great for cleaning up infantry.
And M again goes down with that much.
It came in and strafed a Spetsnaz squad and then died.
I have to question the use of that
yeah, that is not the right way to use that kind of plane at all. Tunguska M getting another helicopter kill there. And this is just, I just really love like the composition of forces that Random's using in the middle here. He's making so much ground. We've got Random with the Moskaya Pehota and the BTR-90s. He's also got his T-72BU there, and then we got Fadeway supporting that with his Spetsnaz and his own BTR-90s, and this is just working so well. This teamwork in the center has pushed them right back, and this is exactly how you take advantage of this kind of situation. A lot of people fail to see the amount of kills they've got in a conquest game because the numbers don't pop up, and then they miss the opportunity to continue pushing, and you can see Fadeway and Random in tandem just pushing through because they know that there isn't much else to contest at the moment. Same's happened in Mike at the bottom side, where Patton was winning with those Luzandwai and the Yakyondes against the Moskayas. He's noticed that, and he's managed to basically push out the entire forest and take full control of that, and it's going to be very hard for the red side to get control of that again.
A tank does go down to that 27M.
Oh, beautiful hit. And the MiG-27M does look like it's going to get away with that.
Although that being said, all of this exposed AI in that corner of Mike is going to go down, so that's a lot of points down the drain. D5 coming in the center, that should probably do quite a lot of damage if it hits in the right place, although I think it's not going to hit much really.
No, it's gone straight over the top and it's going to kill a Ural. Yeah, great kill there.
A big kill. This is looking very good for the blue team. They've secured Mike, and as I believe you mentioned in a previous game on this map, it's very hard to recapture Mike from the red side because getting into that bottom forest once it's occupied with tanks, etc., is very, very difficult. The red team bringing in a Buratino, I will say that's the sort of thing they do need.
Yeah, it might be hard to control the infantry being so spread out, though.
That's definitely true. It was an excellent job by the blue team. They're
going to find this command very, very soon, and well, they know where it is. They just need to kill it. But the great thing is that although they've made all this ground, if you think about the command points, just like how much this has actually affected the game, it's actually not very much. Yeah, okay, it's a similar scenario that we've had in previous games where like one side is dominating the other, but it actually doesn't make much of a difference in terms of this entire map, and that's what's great about Jungle Lore. That's what I've really, really liked watching about this map. So the only contested sector at the moment is technically Gulf, because by giving away Echo and blue side taking Mike, that makes the map even. And Gulf is the only contested sector really in this map if both sides get what they want in terms of like the way the advantage swings on this map.
I will say that while it is only a 1 point tick lead, it is early enough. It is early enough that they will still win them the game if they can hold that. So we will have to see.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're going to have enough momentum here to just push straight through. The reinforcements coming in from Seraga are just not enough at the moment. He's got two BTR-90s there with the Spetsnaz Gru, and they're going to be dropped off straight into a firefight with Moskayas and VDV.
This BU
That
as well.
Smirch is completely missing as well. They can see the BU, but the Smirch barrage is completely just wrong.
I'm slightly disappointed, if you don't mind saying, with Steel Balalaika, because they looked very good in their game with Team Shitters. They were really on point with when they were using their units, when they're using their artillery, especially with those Smirches. But with the Smirches in planes this game, they've lost I think they've lost at least 3 anti-tank planes without firing a single shot. Their Smirches have hit pretty much nothing apart from a few units at the start of the game. And they've now lost their CV and Foxtrot thanks to some nicely placed Lee Ren from Patton and a bomber.
Yeah, the Lee Ren spotted it, and the J7H came in and finished the job. That was,
the BU survives again.
It was a wonderful precision strike there from that aircraft. But like I said before, look at these Spetsnaz. They're just literally being dropped off as a squad of 2 and then just being surrounded and destroyed. The Liege 190 not helping at all there with their napalm rockets, utterly wiping them off the face of the earth. But that B5 is definitely going to do a lot of damage.
Oop.
Yep.
Lots of damage done there.
About 4 Special Forces squads there going down.
They do have lots of these U-90s, although then again the M coming in, that's going to do a lot of damage if that lands on point, although it looks like it might hit the VDV. Yeah, right on the friendly VDV.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that was worth it. VDV 90 squad's worth a lot more than the reserve infantry.
A single squad is worth 5 reserve infantry, although that isn't counting in the vehicles they brought in, but in terms of just the squad point value, not worth it.
Yeah, so now we got the +3 lead for Creating Cognitive Dissonance. And this is definitely racking up a huge lead at the moment, and this really needs to be stopped pretty quickly. Oceans is bringing up a BTR 70k into Foxtrot in order to try and level this out, but I wouldn't be surprised if that gets spotted quickly after it starts capturing that sector again.
Well, as long as those Lee Ren are still there and the Spetsnaz don't actually spot them, then, you know, they saw an infantry CV on the other side of Foxtrot. They'll have no problem spotting that command APC.
Yeah, for sure.
There's also quite a bit of an interesting skirmishing going on in between Echo and Golf with Fadeaway. He's pushed quite far up.
Blimey. The T-72B1 reversed away from the infantry in the forest on the left side of Golf. And it got shot in the back by the PTZ-89.
Oh, the PTZ-89. Oh no.
That's such an incredible kill.
It's definitely a glass cannon, but what a glass cannon it is. 21 AP. It will just one-shot a BU from the side or the back, so...
Yeah, it has a lot of AP
very
power.
Good
MiG-25, a BTR-80A, dealing with a T-80 and a Book M1 in the top side. Some unfavourable trades for the blue side, but they just have so much ground at the moment that these trades aren't particularly mattering too much.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the points for these as well. And another smirch strike landing on nothing. I mean, I guess they're trying to hit the command, but
it's not exactly the right command to try and guess at this point. If you want to make a difference in this game by sniping a CV, why not try and hit the 2-point sectors rather than the 1-point sectors? Again, it's the mind games. They haven't even thought about the fact that the command infantry is just in the obvious town.
Well, that's in the same place. Every single team on the blue side on this map we've seen has put it in that one place. Every single time.
Yeah, same compound.
B5 goes down there as well to the very formidable AA network that CCD's put up. A Buratino coming in to try and level the playing field, but it doesn't look like it's going to hit too much, just that T80 and...
It stunned the Strela, but literally damage only to the T80. And now just continuous infantry skirmish. The only thing that I can see with this game is that Steel Balalaika have no chance of bringing this back now, mainly due to the fact that they are the only way they're going to do it is by CV sniping in either Lima or Juliet. And by the way that CCD are playing, there's no way that that's going to happen.
They seem tilted, for lack of a better word. I don't know. I know someone's not had coffee in the morning or something, or what's happened, but they've done quite a few strange decisions. Those anti-tank planes have really been baited in by Random's BU that he
Look
kept
at this
reversing
lazy
correctly,
command as well in Foxtrot. BTR-70K sitting like
under the bridge.
it's supposed to be under the bridge, but it's just lazy. Like they haven't checked if it's in line of sight or not. That could have easily been like behind the bridge, on sort of the left side of the bridge, but they put it underneath the bridge.
Well, yeah. The big problem with that is that yes, that works, assuming that your enemy is only up on this like the top ridge where those Mosquire and BTR-90 is. Like once you control that, you can the small area where Patton's got those tanks. It can see straight down the river, so you have to be even more careful about where you put your units. A K-52 doing some work on that OSA. And Foxtrot's completely open for business now for the blue team. One PTZ-89 is not going to stop any of that should the blue team try to push that advantage. Although they might be happy with this though.
They're just sitting pretty at the moment. They don't want to overextend too much, although they could possibly try for their own command in Foxtrot pretty easily. That would be my only suggestion at this point. You don't really want to force yourself into Bravo because going across the bridges at this point is stretching yourself pretty thin. But yeah, you could definitely take out that PTZ and replace that with a command infantry squad, and that would be perfectly fine.
Well, they can see the PTZ as well. That's in vision of the blue team, so they know that that's probably all that's there. So I understand why they might not want to push it, because they are devoting all their attention to keeping this pressure up in the middle, forcing the red team to sort of take the bait almost, if you know what I mean. They force them to.
Yeah, well, they're forced to push against it. Yeah. Otherwise, they'll just run through, pretty much. Even if they tried to flank at this point, like if Steel Balalaika tried to flank, get some units round through Foxtrot or something straight into Mike, it'd be a complete waste of time, because what would happen is the blue side would just run through to Bravo and Alpha and Delta, and they would just lose the game.
Oh, it looks like the PTZ is finally going to go down. But Foxtrot is very soon going to be controlled now by the blue team. Pan's moving his tanks up with some support from Strela 10M from Random. So
another BTR-70K coming up, and it looks like it's heading under the bridge.
No, he's pulling it back now. I think he's realised it's
no chance this time.
Not long for this world. This is a bit bigger than just Foxtrot as well, because by holding this position down here, we were just talking pressure a minute ago. That adds an extra element of pressure, because the red team now has to worry about A, the blue team crossing over towards their spawn in Delta through Foxtrot, and B, wrapping around and hitting these reinforcements as they come into the main forest, like these tanks of Pattern are doing now. Because this is, a very dangerous position. You can't push into that forest with these tanks here, and that gives the blue team more breathing room to secure and consolidate what they've taken, more time to think of what to do.
I think Pattern's just happy to sit out in the open now. Honestly, the amount of AA they have to cover themselves, also that SU-27SK getting out alive, is just giving them so much room to work with. Like this Q5D just can't deal with the amount of tanks that are sitting out in the field. You have so many targets.
Take out the T90. It does kill the T90S.
Yeah, they did get one, but like they still have the T72BU. They got ZTZ85 2A. BMP3 did get a nice side shot onto something. Oh, it was just a Strela 10M, but still. Now we got this SU-24M coming in, and that's just going to finish off all of that infantry. Oh wow.
Yeah.
And there goes the resistance.
The thing is as well that the red team is so behind on points, not just in terms of conquest points, but in terms of actual material.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I don't think even if they even if they weren't being pressed, even if this wasn't like a very high octane situation, if you want to call it that, where they have to make these split second decisions, but. Like, even if they did have all the time in the world to think about what to do, I don't think you can come back from this at this time in the game.
Well, definitely not now.
Definitely not now, but even before
even
as well.
Even like 10-20 minutes previous.
Yeah.
It just seems that the composition of forces coming out of CCD just completely caught SB out off guard. Like Steel Balalaika were just completely overwhelmed from the start. We, like I say, in the bot, we got Luzandoi 90s killing the Moskaya 90s, and that should not happen. But it did, because the micro from Patton was just so much better in the bot side. In the middle, I think it was just the combination of the tanks and the infantry that made such a difference. Those SU-122s from the offset were like such a good decision in order to skirmish in that kind of environment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, often the SU-122s, they're not always great from the start, but in this case, because the red side brought no tanks.
Yeah, that is it.
You know, those SU-122s were completely unopposed. They had nothing stopping them from just absolutely destroying that infantry. And this has been a dominating performance from Patton's team, from CCD.
Yeah, we saw a pretty nice Buratino strike, stopping the advance of all those infantry, but that's not going to last too long. Eventually it's going to continue and run over that bridge, because there is literally nothing on the other side now. Like I said, look at this. Ocean's trying to move some of these T-72B1s down on the bottom side to counteract these tanks in Foxtrot.
Too late there.
But it doesn't matter. And finally, the command has gone into Foxtrot, giving the +5, and it's going to be victory very, very shortly.
Yeah, no, just a great performance from the blue team. I'm still really confused as to why Steel Balalaika didn't bring in that the supporting tanks and golf at the start of the game.
Yeah, well, there we have it.
Because the kill death is brutally in CCD's favour there. Random doing a lot of work along with Patton as well to do damage to the red team.
So 25-minute game, pretty decisive, honestly, and it's very nice to see a decisive victory on this map. Previously, things have got a bit messy with teams who were ahead not actually winning because of their decisions throughout the game. In this case, we saw them winning and taking that victory for sure, and it's really nice to see.
Say that again. This was probably, I'd go as far to say, the most one-sided game we've seen so far. I can't think of any that would quite match.
Well, there are many games throughout the tournament that have been very, very one-sided, but this is
true.
Definitely the first that we've decided to cast that has come across it in that way. But I think the main thing comes down to, honestly, Patton's micro play in the bot side, and also just random compositional play in the middle of the map. That is what gave them such an advantage. That is why he has so many kills in comparison to losses. So he had his T-72BU from the offset, he had the T-72B1, he had the 3 or 4 SU-122s, and then his infantry as well. Whereas on the other side, you just had the infantry and the APCs, and that seriously just was not enough. The Smirch was going wherever the hell it wanted. It was completely just awful Smirch play. Okay, the initial strike nearly hit the convoy and did take out 2 BTR 90s. Fair enough. But after that, the Smirch it was terrible.
It was ineffectual completely.
They saw where the T-72BUs reversed into, but they didn't even bother trying to take out those tanks. They were blind firing at CVs, which they were just never going to hit because it was command infantry anyway, and they didn't even know that or have any recon information on the command units. Seemed like a complete waste of time and waste of resources when they could have definitely used that Smirch to kill off those tanks that were making such a difference in the middle of that game.
Yeah, I mean, when you mentioned you were impressed by Patton's play, and I was in terms of micro, Random's BU was so expertly microed, you'd think that he was secretly Korean, because, my god, the amount of anti-tank planes that went down because Random was very careful about, he showed his BU, then when he saw that these planes were coming in, he knew exactly when to reverse it, he knew the right time, and he baited those planes in. I think we counted 3 anti-tank planes that didn't fire a single missile because they were going for this BU of Random, and he just pulled it back at the right time. The AA came in, and they lost so many points with these sort of ineffectual plays. And again, with the Smirch as well. Like, think of all the tanks. So, I mean, it wouldn't one-shot a BU, but it would stun the BU, panic it, and give your forces a much better chance of taking something like that on. But they just didn't. They just tried to hit CVs when, I mean, the past games that we've seen on this, every single team on the blue side, always brought in that infantry CV to go into that one single block of town. It's not been anywhere different every single time.
Yeah, well, by the time they brought in the Bertino, it was out of range, pretty much.
Yeah.
In order to
they
kill that.
They couldn't get it forward enough. It was
and yeah, like you say, the tanks were going out of line of sight perfectly for those MiGs coming in. Just amazing play, really, from CCD in order to take out Steel Balalaika so convincingly. Because honestly, going into this game, I thought it was going to be a lot more even, and it really caught me off guard.
Well, so did I, because like we said at the start, these are both very good teams. Like, even though CCD won quite convincingly, Steel Balalaika is still an excellent team, but they just got dismantled completely this game. And I'm not sure whether that was something wrong in their composition. I mean, I have my qualms with not bringing any tanks in the middle. Or maybe perhaps, they were... Well, I mean, we have already pointed out the amount of points they lost by doing stupid stuff with planes they, probably shouldn't have done. But, yeah, really interesting.
It all stems from the beginning of the game for me. I just think that the starts from both sides were so wildly different, and the blue sides worked so much more effectively, even though in the middle at Gulf they should have really lost the initiative due to losing those BTR-90s, but they didn't, and they managed to turn it around purely due to composition.
Yeah, composition and good play. I think, just CCD played an excellent game. Even Fadeaway, his KD might not show it, but he did an excellent job of keeping the pressure up in that sort of top middle area between Gulf and Echo, the top sector, and was just constantly causing problems there. So and supporting as well. Like, I believe they were his reserve infantry in the center as well, weren't they?
Yeah, well, it's VDV 90 and BTR 90s as well were supporting.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they were just playing together really in the middle, while Fadeaway was also causing a little bit of hassle in the top side as well. But there we have it anyway. Should probably leave it there.
I think so.
So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Goodbye.